All
Woo!
right. Grand Rising, Grand
Man,
Awakening.
rising.
This is the Fam 3 of the Fam 5
Yes,
this
yes.
morning. Good morning to everybody. And I'm Jay Pasquale. We have Brian Smart and Eric Clark, Mr. Soul Speaker. Um, we are part of the Fam 5. And today, Cassandra Terry, your mindset miracle maker, she's not feeling too well. And she's going to be out for a little bit as she rests up and takes care of herself. And that's part of what we were talking about yesterday. We want to make sure that we are all in tune with ourselves, make sure that we are intentional. And part about being intentional means we also have to consider what we're doing on a daily basis to ourselves and how that affects us personally as we walk in our journey. And so today we want to talk a little bit about our journey, and it's Wake Up Wednesday. We're waking up. We're as Brother B says, on this side of the grass. It's always a good thing, um, and it's a good thing for Eric because he likes to put his feet in the grass and do some grounding. Um, look up grounding. It's also a good thing. Um, but today's quote, I'm just going to read today's quote, get right into it. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than to be a gardener in a war. And that was by Bruce Lee, martial artist and Hollywood superstar back in the day. Um, just want to, before we go any further, just go back to Cassandra and say, I hope you're feeling better today. I hope you're on the mend. Um, make sure you take all those vitamins I was talking about. Get you right quick.
Neti pot, right?
And-
Drinking water. Right? Dr. Ola would say drinking water.
oh yeah, yep. Well, as we were talking, um, I was just thinking about a couple of things, but I really want to hear what Brian has to say about today's quote.
Awesome. Grand Rising Kings, Grand Rising Queens. Cassandra, we hope you're feeling better. Denise, hope you're having a great trip. This quote puts me in the mind of, and I'm gonna go biblical here, Jay. I'm gonna take your stand today. When I think about being a warrior in the garden, I think about never ceasing prayer. When I wake up, I'm thankful. When I go to sleep, I'm thankful. And then it's a never ending prayer for me. I'm always praying in thanksgiving. And we talk about supplication, and there are times when I just have to reach up and ask, can you help get me to this next point? Can you show me where I should be going? Can you give me some insight? But I'm always praying in thanksgiving. And the reason that is because I believe if you are if you're always preparing, if you're always ready, you don't have to get ready. There's an old saying, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And in life, you get a lot of unexpected things that come your way. And that's the garden that I'm in. We're fighting a war, right? So every day might seem like, just a regular day. You might feel like you're in the garden, like Eric is with his grounding, and you might feel like a warrior in the garden because you always have to be prepared. But really, you're in a war, and it's better to be a gardener, a warrior in the garden, than a gardener in the war. You have to always be ready because the opposition, the adversary attacks in ways you couldn't even imagine. We're fighting against spiritualities and principalities that we don't see. We don't even know how to really plan our attack. That's why you have to stay ready and not get ready. You have to always pray in Thanksgiving. You have to always be prepared for being unprepared. And that's what this quote means for me. It means I'm staying ready in a war that I can't even be prepared to fight. I don't know how to fight it. The only thing I know to do is to stay ready, stay prepared, stay in Thanksgiving, so that when these things attack, I can understand that it's not me who's fighting them, but my Creator. That's what that quote means for me, brother.
Really, that's exactly what we should consider. Looks like he dropped off. Hopefully he'll come back in. But before I get to you, Eric, let me go ahead and recognize some people this morning. Um, it looks like Chimobi, happy new month. Dietrich, greetings from PA. Good morning, good morning. Michael, good morning. Camille says, morning all. Camille's also saying hydration is key. You hear that, Cassandra? I know you're awake. You should be resting, but okay. Cassandra Terry says, I'm hanging in, fam. I hope so. Dietrich says, feel better. And Dietrich's also responding to our brother B. He will fight our battles. Andrea says, good morning, everyone. Cassandra says, yes, ma'am. All good things. All right. Eric, I see you writing. Usually there's two others maybe before you. Now it's just you and me. So I'll hand it to you, brother. And
Oh no, I think between me and you, there's a million of us, and so I'm not worried at all. Thank you, Cassandra. Please get your rest. If you fall asleep, if you need a nap, whatever, please take care of yourself, sister. You know I keep notes, and I think the one thing that B said to me was to pray in Thanksgiving. I think I counted. He said it 7 times. But that mindset, that idea of staying in Thanksgiving is what I want to highlight this morning. Uh, it's crucial. It's essential. It changes how you approach, how you address things and situations, and your mindset. And so I understand that when you may be pessimistic or holding on to ideas or false beliefs or reality about yourself, it may be hard to believe that just the mindset shift, just thinking positively would have that dramatic of an impact, but it really does. I don't have any other way to express it, but it really does. Try it and see, right? You'll try, how many things would you try for 30 days for whatever that you'll click on or do, or take up a challenge at the gym or work? Try being positive for 30 days. Right? If you really question or believe that it's not a viable tool, try it. That's all. Try it. For me, and how I can, I believe, reflect or add value to what Brother B said, was just to emphasize what he said, to highlight it. Again, he said it 5 times. Stay in prayer. Perfect time, and I called you back. I spoke you into existence, Brian. I was just highlighting the point you made about staying in prayer, staying in Thanksgiving, and that being just essential, and how that mindset shift alone will um, be so beneficial in your life. I can't even explain to you all the ways in which it'll benefit you to stay in that mindset, regardless of the situation, because of the way it positions you, because of the way it helps you see what is best for you. And thus, that is why I highlight and why I think it's so important and so key this morning. Um, did that inspire, spark something from you, Brian, that you would want to re-highlight, since I'm highlighting something you said?
Well, you know, to add to the conversation, I'm going to say one thing. The things that come upon us, the things that seem like they can overtake us, when you see it from that perspective of from the creator's mindset, from a positive mindset, you realize that one is happening for you, and two, you can discern what you can attack and what you can't. Right? That's a big thing with being a warrior, is knowing which battle to fight and which battle to walk away from. You know, a lot of the battles that we face, we don't even have to fight them. They already won, right? So why even waste your time on something that you've already won when you could be working on something that you haven't attacked yet, that you haven't you haven't addressed. Stop focusing on the things that are already done for you. You know, it talks about that. I guess that's why I'm coming from a biblical standpoint this morning, because it talks about that discernment, right? Knowing what you can do, what you can't do, and the difference to know the two means everything in the world. And you can't do that if you're not prayed up, if you're not ready. You know, you scrambling and you trying to get ready. And that's why I believe you know, a lot of the times when you think about prayer, people think about prayer in a sense of asking, but they're asking from a place of fear. They're asking from a place of begging. If you've actually done your homework, and that's an analogy I used to use all the time. If you've actually done your homework, when you go to take that test, you don't feel scared. You don't feel that sense of fear. You go in there with a sense of confidence that you're gonna pass and you're gonna win and you're gonna come out, you know, brighter and better on the other side. But if you're not ready, when the challenge hit, you know, you scrambling, you start to beg, you start to have this sense of doubt, like, you know, are you even listening to me? Can you help me? Are you gonna help me? Is this gonna go my way? But when you praying in thanksgiving all the time, that's not how it feels when these trials and tribulations come your way. And they coming, you know, they coming whether you pray or not. So you might as well stay prayed up so that you can have that sense of confidence, that sense that's and like Cassandra says, tap into your faith so you can have that faith to know, okay, however this goes, is going the way it's supposed to go for me. So that's for me, again, that's what it means to be a gardener in the war, right? I'm humble, I'm meek, and meek is taken as, you know, people think about meek, they think of meek as being weak, or being, you know, somebody that can't handle the situation. But what meekness really means is you're beholden to your creator. You're a servant. You know who's in charge, and you just there to serve. That's what meek means. And when you are meek in your day-to-day life, when you have that humility, your creator always shows up and shows out for your good. And you don't have to worry about trying to get ready, because you're staying ready. You're a gardener in the war, and it's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in the war. You don't have to get ready. You staying ready all the time. You're a warrior in the garden. And I'd much rather be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in the war.
Yeah, B. Um, I'm definitely hearing that. Um, let me recognize what's being said first. Well, Cassandra's throwing up hearts. Camille was saying, I literally said this to my 11-year-old this morning about morning positive mindset and how it truly shapes your day. Absolutely. Cassandra says she's got a quote here, and it says, "quote When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change." And that's a quote from Dr. Wayne Dyer. Kim's joined us here, and Kim says they are here. Yeah, amazing. David, hello LLC. David Jones says facts on facts, and um, I'm just going to keep the conversation going here.
Can I give a shout out to David Jones real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Go
I
ahead.
appreciate the brother. He's really bringing the metaverse to a usable level. It was something that I started off thinking it was way over my head, and the brother really brought it down to a science, really. And so to be able to use your phone to walk around, explore in the metaverse, he's really made that easy. So I appreciate you, brother. I look forward to speaking with you, and thank you for the Hello Universe. We gonna be there Thursday for bingo. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, I'm still kind of on the fence about that. I you know, uh, because of my age, I feel some type of way about bingo. Anyway,
You're funny
well, Kim says, look at this alignment. I said same to my 12-year-old. Day after Halloween, he was tired and so negative. And David comes back to say, change your energy, change your world. And definitely you could do that in the metaverse. You can change your several several different worlds. um, but I want to go back to what Brian was saying. I'm going to use Mark chapter 14, verse 38. Keep watching and praying that you may not come into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And we've heard this several times as Christians at church. And I think it is exactly what Brian was talking about. Stay prayed up, right? Tap in. I always say, as a result of the tornado, I came up with a saying for myself, and that was, by your faith and your DNA, you got this. And as Christians, we rely on the Bible, we rely on God's word, right? You may believe differently. It may be the universe, it may be, this source, what they call source. But for us as Christians, this is what we believe. Um, and sometimes it is supplication, right? I used that word yesterday. Supplication is basically asking, humbly asking, um, for that divine intervention. Um, and sometimes we really should be thinking about praise in our prayer, right? Praise that we are on this other side of the grass. Praise that it's another day and we get to do it all over again, right? And if we didn't accomplish something the day before, we can try to do it again today, right? And this is the beauty of being human and being able to do it in another day, another time. Um, and Camille says, God be the glory all the time. And she also says, Thanksgiving forever. Absolutely. Thanksgiving doesn't have to be just but one time a year, right? It should be every day. We should give thanks every day to the Creator that we're here, that we get to do it all over again. Absolutely. That mindset shift for me happened after the tornado. I could stay a victim or I could be a victor, and I chose to be a victor. You get inspiration real quick when you look at your children's eyes and you look at your spouse's eyes, and they look to you for support. They look to you for consolation. They want to be consoled in a time that's difficult, right? And so you could either cower or not live up to an expectation from them, or you can rise. And I chose to rise. And you can't for me, I thought to myself, you can't just sit there. You can't just sulk in your desperation, in your time of need. Either you do something to help yourself or you just sit there. I could not look at my children's faces and feel comfortable in that. And so it took a tornado to shift my mind, right? To shift that mindset. Now, we all experience storms in our life, right? I'm saying you don't need to wait for a natural disaster to shift that mindset. You can do it at the start of your day, every day. Shift that mindset. This is going to be a better day. This is going to be a great day. We're going to be able to take a look at the things that were obstacles yesterday, and we're going to try to see what we can do about it today. And if you are definitely prayed up, if you have that faith, then you should be able to look at it and try to tackle it yet again. Kelly says, yes, give thanks every day. Absolutely. And this is a definite um, powerful prayer. It is a powerful prayer to give thanks. Um, I have a prayer, and I've been saying it a few times every morning on this show. Thank you, God. What gift do you have for me today? And then I then say, how can I be a gift to others? This is a prayer. And why a gift? Because eh, as children of God, we are in anticipation of his return, right? And but as we live our lives, the gift of today as a child, right? I get to go out and have cereal in the morning. As a child, I get to see whether or not, Papa's gonna take me to the park or, do something at the store or get me something, get me a little treat. And this is how we have to look at things from the child's perspective, with that curiosity, with awe and wonder that what kind of gift will I be blessed with today? What will I learn? How will I grow today? You know, mindset is something that Cassandra talks about all the time. And in order to be mindful, I think you have to start out with a meditative state, right, in the morning. And for Christians, meditating means praying. This plain and simple. I believe, So if we are always in that prayed up state, we will be ready to receive those blessings. We will be ready to receive those gifts. And so this is what I'm praying for today, that we receive our gifts. We are blessed throughout the day. And I'm just going to go around again. Um, and I'm gonna start with Eric. Eric, talk to me, man. What do you think about the Bible verse and being prayed up and ready to receive today's gift?
Absolutely, I appreciate it. The first thing that comes to my mind is again just the difference in the shift in mindset and how I think it was one of the comments that you read. Uh, you see things differently because you are in a different place, and so even the way that you see something is different. So um, it's really something you do for yourself. It's something you do out of self love, staying prayed up. And so I encourage it. I encourage meditation if you're not in prayer, if that's not what you do. Meditate, but spend time quietly organizing your thoughts and regulating your emotions. Um, Spend that quiet time. And so um, I'm out here. I put my socks and sandals on because the breeze is getting ugly. But grounding for me started as a practice to really help with the swelling in my feet from marathon running. That's where it started, and it was just so therapeutic that I continued, and I started to notice the other benefits. And so, just in continuing to revamp your methods of self care, and just really encourage prayer or meditation, however you are staying spiritually engaged and tap into your higher power. Right, that's what we're talking about, your higher power. And so absolutely connect with the verse. Appreciate you highlighting it. I spend time daily, every day, reconnecting in prayer uh, with my higher power, right, with my God. And so that that's what I use. That's my technique. That's what I advocate for. You have to find your own way. Can you hear the breeze?
Yeah, I'm praying for you. It's cold.
It's really it's really not that bad either. You know what I mean? Especially coming from Wisconsin, you can see that the trees are moving a little bit. Um, the sun isn't quite out yet. That'll make a drastic difference as soon as the sun comes out over the horizon here. So um, we'll stay down. The but yeah, just absolutely timely prayer or message with the Bible verse today. Staying in prayer, just staying in a grateful attitude, staying in a positive mental attitude will help you address and attack all concerns, all solutions. Right? You want to be positive even when you're happy or even when things are going well, right? Because as Brian told us, the storm is always around the corner in life, right? There's always going to be some obstacle or some challenge to overcome regardless of where you are at this moment. And so, if you stay down, you don't have to get down because the storm is coming. That's the negative way to end. You either, and what is the truth, right? If you're either in the storm is just left, or it's just coming.
It's not I don't believe it's negative. Um I especially with storm analogies, man. I can't, you know, as a tornado survivor, yeah, I got to look at it from a positive viewpoint. Um, uh, there's, there's, some people might call the saying a little corny, but you have to, you have to stand a little rain to see the rainbow, right? So you're gonna have to experience those storms, but you know, Cassandra talks about responding versus reacting. And reacting is that immediate, okay, let me do this. Responding is, okay, let me evaluate the situation. Let me Let me figure it out because I am prayed up. I am ready to tackle this. I'm meditated. I have got this under control personally. Things may be flying around and going haywire all the way around you, but responding to that, how you respond to that, are you going to be that gardener or are you going to be that warrior? And, I just, from what I know of martial arts and the history of martial arts, right? I have this picture in my mind. Martial arts started supposedly by farmers defending themselves against warriors. And so if you look at a lot of some of the martial arts weaponry, right? You look at them and some of them look like farming implements, tools that we use out in the farm, a staff, right? Um, you could just see that they they probably broke off the end of something, and here's a stick that I'm gonna hit you with. Um, and other types of things like that. That quote really just painted this picture. I can be this person out there reaping the benefits of the fruits of my labor, literally fruits, and or I could, you know, watch things happen to me, right? Be and not defend my property against an invading force, or I could be that warrior and take up these implements in my hand and defend myself. And so this is it was a perfect picture in my mind, and that's why I wanted to share that with the audience. If you don't know where that the origins of martial arts comes from and some of the stories, the legends of how martial arts started, that's what immediately came to mind with the quote from Bruce Lee. Brian, I know you like this quote because you mentioned it several times. And what do you see about what I read, and how does that work into what you were saying earlier?
So you made a couple of really good points, Jay. Uh, you also, Eric, Jay, you said meditation and responding. And I believe a common misconception is the idea that we have the ability to create our thoughts, and we don't. When you think about being able to create thoughts, you think that you have control over your thinking. You think that you can control what goes in and out of your brain, and that's not what our brains are. Our brains are sending and receiving stations. That's all they are. They're not creation stations. And you made the statement about what Cassandra was saying about responding, not reacting. The thing that you have, the thing that you do when you meditate is respond to your thoughts. You're responding to the thoughts based on the vibrations that you've prepared to send out, that you've been working to send out. Like Eric was saying, if you stay down, you don't have to get down. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So when you stay prayed up, your response to those thoughts is more than likely to be positive. That's not to say that all of the thoughts that are sent to you are going to be positive, but your response will be positive. That's what meditation is for me. That's why I stay in prayer, diligent, constant, never ending prayer, so that when these thoughts come to me of a negative origin, which are out of my control, there's nothing I can do about that. My response will be positive. My response will be faithful. That's what faith is. Faith is positivity. Fear is negativity. when you're not prepared for what's coming, the only thing you can do is be fearful, because you haven't filled that space with faith, with positivity. So when you meditate, you're meditating on the thoughts that are coming to you. You're not creating or controlling your thoughts. You're deciding your response to those thoughts. And that's what that means for me. That's what this quote, that's what this discussion is. It's a reaffirmation that you have to always be prayerful and you have to stay ready. You have to be a warrior in the garden in order to survive this never-ending war that we're fighting.
Right. We do have our ways of responding. And if we think about it from that perspective of positivity, the responses are going to have a positive impact, not only for ourselves, but for those around us, the people in our family, the people who we call friends, the people in our network. Um, wow, it looks like we definitely spurred some writing this morning with the response here from Chamovi. I love this quote. It's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in a war. If I'm to interpret this quote, I have many interpretations regarding the quote, but I want to use the events of contemporary society to illustrate this quote. Family, as the smallest unit of society, has a very vital role in the upbringing of a child, irrespective of the origin, color, race, language, and culture. Humanity is one, same body, same soul, same components, but we as humans have deviated. Cassandra says, Dietrich James, thank you. Um, Going back up to what she was saying earlier. So, in just looking at what I just read, humanity is one, same body, same soul, and same components, but we as humans have deviated. And I'm trying to understand where that's coming from and how it relates to the quote, right? It's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in a war. The I guess reading that as an indigenous person, right? We've uh, understanding my DNA. So the second half of my thoughts, right? By your faith in your DNA, you've got this. So the DNA portion of me says, we've been given these tools over time and millennium to figure out what we can do for ourselves and humanity, right? People in general. And just some of those knowledge centers from native people, indigenous people. Some of those cultural practices have roots in science, and it's science is just now catching up to those cultural practices. And we've deviated from those practices, uh, and part of it is dogma, and so I'm going to get deep into it at this point about this. Some of that knowledge is important, and I'll give you a prime example. You know, um, and some of us call it lovingly woo woo, right? Um, People refer to it as spirituality or indigenous spirituality. Um, But I'll give you a prime example, sage, right? People like to burn sage, and especially um, native populations or indigenous populations, people from Turtle Island, right? Um, and so they clear the room of negative energy. Oddly enough, science has proven that sage cleans the air once the smoke is dissipated, right? It actually cleans the air. And so this is science. And we have the tools. The creator has given us tools. Our ancestors have been given these tools and they've passed it down to us. And while being prayed up helps us to respond, there's that second part of that which is important, which is the response, the action, right? So the preparation is being in a meditative state, but the action, the response, is those tools that have been handed down to us to take that mindset shift and apply it in an action that will be a positive action, that will be a positive impact to yourself and those that surround you. So that's what I received from that message. And as we close, I just want to go. We'll start with Brian, and then we'll go to Eric on some closing thoughts this morning on Wake Up Wednesday, the quotes that we shared, and um, the comment that I just read. I'll start with you, Brian.
Jay, you made such a good point. We've got tools in place. We were given tools by the creator that we can use. And a lot of this has been overlooked over time because we've been so overwhelmed with just living day to day. One thing that comes to mind, drink your water. Take care of your body. If you're not taking care of your body, you can't take care of your spirit. And if your spirit is not in line, then your mind is out of line. Right? It starts with eating right. It starts with exercising. It starts with doing what Eric is doing and grounding. You know, when you do these simple things, you will be amazed at your response to the things that come at you. Like you have this default positive mindset when you start to take care of your body. You know, if you're sick all the time from eating all these processed foods and not drinking your water, man, you're gonna be negative by default, and there's nothing you're gonna be able to do about it because you're physically in a state of negativity. You're upset that you're feeling bad. You're upset that you're sick. If you can't take care of your body, then you won't be able to take care of your spirit or your mind. So, for a lot of people, sage is one of those woo things. I like sage. I like cleaning the air around me. I like bringing plants from the outside back in to clean my space. But there's so many more simple things that you can do. Just drinking water. Drink your water every single day, right? Like we were talking last night, eat some oatmeal. You know what I mean? Stop eating all the processed foods. Take a minute and just breathe some air. Go outside and put your feet in the ground. You know what I'm saying? Smile more often. Tell somebody you love them. All of that is your response. So I just want to thank you, Jay, for bringing that thought to the forefront and for doing such a great job of doing what you do, brother. I'm going to pass it over to Eric, man.
I appreciate that, Brian, and I'm gonna keep it going because I think that again, that's a note we can make every day, right? Stay positive, smile. It doesn't cost you anything, and yet it could mean the world of difference. And so, we're gonna keep it rolling right on to you, Jay. You know I hate going before you anyways. There's no winning in that, so
Before or after me.
I'm telling
I,
you, forget about it.
listen, um,
And that is not a voice challenge. No means. I do not want
I
any
got
smoke
to
with
laugh
you.
on that. I was trying to be quiet and get ready, but man, I had to laugh on that. That's not a voice challenge. For anybody out there, do not challenge Jay. He's the king.
stop. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop. Listen, um, I want to. I just want to say that you know the the response, right? Part of the response for me is surrounding myself with people that will lift you up, and the people in my network, the Fam Five, have been that for me. And in your days, and in having that response, that action, right? We talk about the mindset shift, the response, that action should also be surround yourself with positivity, but also surround yourself with people that will lift you up. You know, don't continue to be surrounding yourself with that person who's always, oh man, did you hear about this? And this, so, if you hear the negativity constantly over and over again, you're going to absorb that. That's almost going to be, that story is almost going to be a part or become part of your story. And yeah, you can be there for people, but if it's constant and they're bringing you into that all the time, understand that it will have an effect and impact on you and how you respond and what that looks like. Always be there for people, obviously, that are going to need your help. That's a calling from God. But at the same time, the people that you surround yourself with, right? For me, the Fam Five is my people. um, and they've been there, and I think I just want to say thank you to them. Thank you for the opportunity, Cassandra, to sit in this spot. Filling your shoes is not easy. They may be tiny, but I can't fill them. I can't feel those shoes. Um, I just want to say thank you to everybody, and thank you everybody who's been listening and been watching, taking the time out of your morning to listen to us, gain some perspective, some insight from us. I just want to say, um, continue to uh, stay blessed, stay meditated or in prayer if you're Christian, and respond. Don't react. Thanks again for joining us. Have a good day. Everybody, you can say goodbye. B, Eric.
Au revoir. Buenos dias.
Bye-bye. Have a great day. Grand Rising. You woke up on purpose for a purpose. Walk in
Ab-
confidence.
Have a wonderful
Absolutely.
day, everyone.
Take care.